Hi, I'm Ben with Apt, and this is the brand new Fitbit Blaze. So this is a pretty cool new product by Fitbit. It kind of bridges the gap between their Charge HR and their top-of-the-line Fitbit Surge. And what this is kind of a smartwatch combined with an activity tracker. So to start, I want to kind of walk through the fit and finish, and then I'll give you some of the features of this new tracker. So we have a traditional kind of rubberized Fitbit band that goes around this one. It's kind of that soft touch rubber. It's water resistant. You can't really wear it in the shower or in the pool or anything, but it is splash and water resistant to some degree. Around the tracker, there's a metal frame that's it's very sturdy and it holds the tracker right in place. In a second, I'll show you kind of how the tracker snaps in here. But along the outside, we have these buttons, and they're tactile buttons that push the buttons on the actual tracker itself. But the whole frame and the band feel very sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. If you're working out, you hit it against something, you'll probably be okay. So one of the really cool things about the Blaze is that these bands are interchangeable. So the tracker itself actually pops in and out, and you could replace this with a leather band, with a metal band. So you can have this Fitbit in a variety of different bands to fit kind of if you're going out at night or if you're working out. There's a lot of different possibilities for the look and feel of this Fitbit. So you can change it to be more like a dress watch or more like a activity band when you're working out. So when you pop it out, there's these kind of little rubber stoppers that hold it in place. So it actually snaps in very securely. As you can see, like I'm snapping it in here, shaking it around. It's not going to come out. A lot of people said at the beginning, oh, well, does it need your wrist to stay in? And no, it doesn't. It stays in pretty firmly with just the little metal stoppers. So the tracker itself, you do need to take it out to charge. There is an included charging cradle, which is a little bit inconvenient because you have to take the whole watch apart, take the tracker, put it in the little dock. So that was one thing that I found kind of irritating about it. But the flexibility to have all those different bands is really a unique feature with this Fitbit. So now I want to go over some of the features of the Fitbit Blaze. But before I do, look at this tracker on my wrist. So I'm a pretty big person. I have a bigger wrist, and this is a large tracker. So just keep that in mind. If you are a smaller person or you have a smaller wrist, this may not be the tracker for you. It is a bit larger than the Charge or the Charge HR or some other Fitbit models that are out. But so let's go on to the home screen here. So this is the home screen. As you can see, it just looks like a watch face. And there are a lot of features that you can find just from the home screen. So if you look around the top here, we've got this little circle that's lit up. And so that's going to track my progress of steps throughout the day. The blue line is how many steps I've taken. It's still pretty early in the day, so I've only have about 2,000 steps today. But as the day goes on, I get more steps and get closer to that 10,000 step goal. That circle will fill up around the entire watch. So from the watch face, we have this February 18th down here. If you tap, that's going to change. So it's showing my current heart rate. It'll show my distance traveled for the day. It will show my calories burned for the day. It'll show how many steps I've climbed, or flights of stairs, I should say, and my number of steps taken, and then back to the date. So all that information is readily available at the tap of the screen there. And one thing about the heart rate that it shows is that this is a live heart rate. So this tracker is always taking my heart rate, which is great because you can look back on a graph through the day and see, during your workout, what was your heart rate, what was your resting heart rate. It's always tracking, which is nice. So now if we scroll down from the top, we have a notification menu and a pause, play, next, back button. So the notifications on or off, these will give you notifications on the tracker, just kind of like a smartwatch. So it'll tell you if you're getting a phone call, it'll tell you if you're getting a text message, it'll let you read the text message, and it'll also show you your calendar updates for the day, which is pretty nice to have right on your wrist. So below that, we have the pause, play, next, backtrack. Now, this allows you to control music that's playing on your phone right from your watch. I tested this out with Spotify and the built-in music app on my iPhone, and it was able to automatically detect what was playing and allow me to change the track, pause, play right from my wrist, which was nice. And additionally, these two little tactile buttons on the side can control your volume while you're listening to that music. So now also on the home screen, if we scroll up from the bottom, that's where your notifications are going to show up. This is where you'll see those text messages, those missed calls, and your calendar notifications. All the things are going to show up there, and you'll be able to scroll through, and as many as you have, there's a way to clear it from there as well. So that's a cool little notification tray right on the home screen. So this is one of 7 screens on the watch. So we'll scroll over here, and the next one is today. That's the second one. So if we click on today, it'll give me a list of all that information that I was able to access right on the home screen. You'll be able to see the steps, heart rate, distance traveled, calories burned, number of floors climbed, all in a little list here, which is kind of nice to see everything without having to tap each time. This button over here is the home button. So we hit that, it'll go back to that original today or home menu or whatever menu we want to get to. So we'll scroll over again. We're now on the third screen, and this is exercise. Now, we'll hit that. Now, this gives you the option to track a variety of exercises: running, biking, weights, treadmill, elliptical, workout in general. So one cool thing about this is that when you activate these, it's going to start recording whatever workout you're doing. So if you're on the treadmill, it'll record you as you're on your treadmill. Now, this will automatically track your workouts. So yesterday I ran a bit on the treadmill and a little bit on the elliptical, and it was able to differentiate between the two automatically. I didn't have to actually have to set any of these, but if you want it to be a little bit more accurate, you can set it right here. Now, one of the cool things between running and biking is this little gear down here. Now, if you click on that, you'll see that there's run cues. So you can mark laps based on Fitbit app settings, use phone GPS. Now, that's one of the cool things about this tracker. It doesn't have a built-in GPS, but it has what they call a connected GPS. So if you're running or biking, you can connect this to your phone's GPS, and as long as you have your phone with you, it'll track the distance, your route traveled, your pace, all that fun stuff. So that's one of the features of this tracker that makes it pretty unique. Go back to the home screen here and move on to the next menu, and this is called FitStar. Now, this is kind of a cool thing. You can have different workouts right on your wrist. So say we want to do some 10-minute abs, and we'll click on that, and it'll say 10-minute abs, crush your core with this quick session. Now, if you click this top little menu here, it'll show you what you're going to be doing. So we got bicycle kicks, elbow planks, you get the gist. So go back here, and if we hit the little start button down here, it'll start with the bicycle kicks. You'll have a little 10-second countdown, or you can skip the countdown if you want by hitting this button, and it'll start your workout. It'll track your heart rate, it'll give you your time, it'll tell you what exercise you're doing. So it's kind of like a little built-in personal trainer on your wrist. So that's kind of a cool feature. Moving on from FitStar, we've got the timer. So if you hit timer, we have two options. We have stopwatch and countdown. And these are just basic, timer functions. If you wanted to time a workout or count down, if you want to do planks or something, you want to count down for 30 seconds, you can do that. Pause, reset the time. So that's kind of a cool thing to have right on your wrist. Moving on from that, we have alarms. So there is a vibrating mechanism built into this, and you'll feel it vibrate when you get your 10,000 steps for the day or when you get a notification, but you can also set it to vibrate at certain times at what they call a silent alarm. So if you want this to vibrate and wake you up in the morning, you can set an alarm for the typical time you have your alarm clock go off, and this will vibrate on your wrist and wake you up rather than have your alarm clock go off in a noisy fashion. So that's kind of a cool way to wake up. I actually quite like it. I have the Charge HR that does the same thing, but it's a nice way to wake up. Moving on from alarms, we have settings. So this is the seventh and final menu of the Fitbit. So if we click on settings, we have a few things. There's the quick view, which is a way to save battery on your phone, or on your Fitbit, I'm sorry. So when the Fitbit is just resting, the screen's going to turn off. And the Fitbit claims it'll get five days of battery life. Realistically, you're probably not going to get that. That seems a bit high, but it'll turn off the screen to save battery. And then if you tilt your wrist, the screen will pop on. So that's what quick view means. You're also able to control the brightness and the heart rate. So as I mentioned earlier, this is constantly tracking your heart rate, another thing that'll kill the battery, but there's a way to turn it on and off in the settings menu. You also have regulatory info, version number, and a way to shut down the watch right from that. So that pretty much covers all the features of the new Fitbit Blaze. So after having it for a couple days, I can really say that this is a great combination of a smartwatch and an activity tracker, and that's really what Fitbit is trying to do with this. There were a few things that I didn't like. As I mentioned, that having to take it out and put it in the charging cradle, that's a little bit annoying every time. And the fact that it is a little bit bigger on your wrist was a downside for me, but it wasn't really in the way while I was doing anything active. So that's one of the good things about it. So what they did really well with this, though, is with that functionality of being able to take the tracker out, you can have all sorts of bands on here. We have a separate video about changing the bands, so if you're interested in how you do that, just check out that other video on our YouTube channel. But there are a lot of really great features with this one. So that's the Fitbit Blaze, and if you're interested in learning more or you'd like to buy the product, check out the link in the description below, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel.